You are listening to Knackers in the Breeze, the podcast.
Would you rather have cheddar cheese for knees, or a talking dog that only speaks in Portuguese? Or to make yourself feel really dry, would you towel dry between your thighs, or dangle out your knackers in the breeze?
Welcome to episode 24 of Knackers in the Breeze with me, Ryan. No Barry this time, and we have a guest on this week from Skype, from Australia. And it's only the father of bloody would you rather.
Hello. Good day. No one says good day.
Right, yeah, so he's from Australia, so I've got to record this at 7:11 a.m. in the morning. So I might not be on my sharpest speaking terms, which is a prime example of how it's going to go.
You're doing surprisingly well.
Thank you. Yeah, we've got Father Would You Rather on Skype, and hopefully this works, because we did try this last time. We tried a little tester, and I just recorded myself twice. Like, I really needed to hear my voice more than once. I just love my voice so much, Paul.
Yes.
So, those who don't know, Father Would You Rather is actually called Paul.
Hello, I am Paul. That is my name. It was given to me. I had no choice in the matter, unfortunately. I just dealt with it. Dealt the cards as they were played. It's not the saying. It's played the cards as they were dealt. Yeah, I was just going to say this is going to be quite difficult for me in that they say, like me and Ryan, we both studied psychology, studied in inverted commas at university, the University of Northampton, again, inverted commas.
Which bit's in quotation marks there? Is that the Northampton part or the university?
University.
The University of Northampton. Sounds a bit dodgy.
Is it a place? We're not sure. It's a place. Yeah, it's not somewhere we'd recommend visiting. Anyway, that aside, most of my communication, I feel, is face to face, and I very much struggle not being able to see you. I need bodily cues as to when you're about to speak.
Bodily contact. See you.
Bodily contact, ideally. Normally, when we're having this sort of discussion, you're sat on my lap.
I prefer to sit on your lap face forward, though, so you can still see my face. It's a bit of courtesy from me.
That's the ideal, yeah. But we'll make this work. We'll stumble through. I will interrupt you regularly. For that, I apologise in advance. You're going to have a nightmare with the edit, but...
That's right. The beauty of doing it over Skype is I could just cut your audio out.
Okay, fantastic.
And I can cut mine out. Whereas when Barry and I do it, it's kind of like there is an overlap. But you can sort of hear it in the background a little bit.
Okay, gotcha.
So for those who don't know, Paul is called the father of Would You Rather. He's kind of the father of this podcast because he gave us the idea of just starting the Would You Rather podcast, because when Paul and I were at university, he just used to text me every now and then just with these very obscure Would You Rather questions. And yeah, let's give an example of one. The very first episode of this format, episode number 2, you asked us, would you rather have a 6-inch big toe?
Yeah.
Or was it 2 or 3 foot dangly nips? So it's taken 23 episodes past that to get you on to hear your side of the story of that. So what would you rather, Paul?
That's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. I'm surprised you deliberated over it as long as you did. I'd go for the nips. I think you could tape the nips up, you could curl them around. You could do something, maybe wrap them around your torso a couple of times and then into a little bow, and it wouldn't impact your life terribly. Whereas the toe, nothing you can do about the toe. It's a toe that wouldn't be able to be amputated. You certainly couldn't curl it around, so it's forever in the way.
I've never met anyone with a 6-inch toe, so I don't know if it's beneficial. You could become some sort of like brilliant athlete, some like high jumper or something.
Okay,
and with your nips, you might have to like learn new sort of knots. That could be quite cool, actually. You could have a little different like sailor's knot every day. It could be like a different tie.
That sounds like a lot of effort. I think it would just be like putting on a t-shirt. You don't put your t-shirt on different every day. You just tie it up nice so it's out of the way, so you're tripping over it, and crack on. So yeah, that's what I would choose. I haven't thought about it since posing it to you. I don't remember the inspiration for that. I think it's because Ryan, as you know, I'm a little bit self-conscious of my nipples. A friend of mine in school said they're called burger nips.
3 foot long?
They're not 3 foot long, no, but 2.5. They're a little bit puffy, slightly puffy, and they remain the same amount of puffy depending on my weight fluctuates, depending on whether I'm slim or whether I'm a little bit chubbier, and it bothers me. It dictates what colour
t-shirt. Do nips correspond there, or
do they correspond? I don't know if they communicate with one another.
With
I'm not
weight
sure.
Loss.
Oh no! What I'm saying is the nips, they stay the same.
Left nip, we're going in. Are you with me?
They're the same. They protrude the same amount regardless of my body fat percentage.
Okay, so you got like 2 foot dangly nips, but they're not dangly, they're protruding nips.
They're not 2 foot. They're
Sort of like Pinocchio nips. Pinocchio nips.
I don't know. It's when I tell the truth, though. That's when they stick out the most. So I tend to just lie. Everything I've told you up until now, Ryan, has been a lie.
Right, so would these dangly nips make you self-conscious, or would they be all right?
The hypothetical dangly nips or my current nipples?
So say you've got the same quote-unquote puffiness of the nipples, but you got the dangliness as well.
We're exaggerating here for comic effect, but my nipples, they're somewhat puffy. They're slightly puffy, all right? So if I wear a black T-shirt, the puffiness isn't particularly noticeable. If I was to wear a white T-shirt, in a certain light, you would certainly see the outline of the nipple, which is not what I want. Whereas these, in the question, the long dangly nips, I would feel very self-conscious about that, but you could disguise it. I think you could wear a T-shirt that's perhaps made of...
Disguising the nipples. Got like a little moustache and sunglasses.
Yeah.
No one's going to know they're mine.
Exactly. Yeah, this is a different entity, like a sock puppet, but a nipple. No, yeah, I would feel self-conscious, actually. Thinking about it, mate, I would.
Yeah, you just get on with it when you got 6 foot dangly nips. Not 6 foot. That's like skipping rope standard.
I'm sure there are advantages. I just I can't think of them currently.
Right. So first question, Paul. How do you feel?
First question. Yeah, I was slightly nervous actually. There's a lot to live up to. You have an excellent chemistry with Barry also, and as I said, I'm not brilliant via the phone. It's important for the listeners to know as well, Ryan, that you surprised me when we first started this, because we had a little conversation beforehand and it was very normal for us. And then you entered what I can only describe as sort of phone mum mode. You know how your mum talks different on the phone when the podcast started?
Oh, hello, listeners.
Yeah, no, you really did. And it made me feel like I should talk different.
Ryan, you got a fucking phone. Get it up. He's just coming.
Okay. Have you heard of the podcast Fractal Fiction?
Yeah, I've heard it through Knackers in the Breeze. Go on, give me a reminder.
Okay, so Fractal Fiction is a podcast where it's a sort of a comedy, improvisation, storytelling podcast. And they've featured on the podcast before. They asked us a question last episode, which isn't out yet. This is I'm recording this prior to releasing episode 23. So look forward to that. But Fractal Fiction have got a question on there. And I thought this question in particular you would enjoy, Paul, and those who know you and know how you look would find this quite interesting as well.
Okay.
And I don't mean that in a horrible way. It will be significant in a minute.
Go on then.
Would you rather look like you do now, but have the voice of a small Japanese girl? Or would you rather have your voice and consciousness in the body of a small Japanese girl?
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Both would be amazing. I'd love that.
Would you? Would you love it?
I'd love to see a small Japanese girl with a Bristolian man's voice.
I don't feel like I have the manliest voice. I think your voice is somewhat more manly than mine.
No, I don't think so.
No, I think it's deeper. It's certainly deeper.
I don't know. We'll have to get some sort of... last episode, we featured a decibelometer or a decibel meter. We'll have to get some sort of pitch meter to compare the voices, I think. Compare the pitches.
Yeah, interesting. I was serving a lady. I work in a cafe on top of a mountain in Australia, and I was serving this lady, and she laughed at me when I started talking to her, which doesn't happen often. You might think. And she said, "Your voice doesn't match your face."
Is it because your voice was a small Japanese girl?
Yeah. That's probably where they got the
Just for those who don't know, Paul, how tall are you?
6 foot.
6 foot. So what's that in meters? I don't know.
I have no idea.
So yeah, quite tall, quite like rugby built maybe. So it'll be interesting to see him with a small Japanese girl's voice. I'm just imagining you going in just like,
Konnichiwa.
There are a lot of Japanese women up here on the mountain. Many a Japanese person comes and does a stint in housekeeping. Generally, they keep them segregated. I don't agree with that, but it's the way it goes. It would change you more, wouldn't it? It would change you more to look different than it would to speak different.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. To look different. Yeah, neither are ideal, are they? But I suppose you do have the same consciousness as you do now, but as a Japanese girl. But would it change your personality if you're going, hey, lads? But it's like, hey, lads. That was a terrible accent.
That was awful. Yeah, keep that in. Don't edit that out. That stays. I can't do accents. You're very, very good at accents, generally, not on this occasion, but most of the time you nail them. I can't do accents. I can't picture it, mate, to be honest. It's a difficult one to imagine. I'd probably stay as I am now, hairy and large, and have the Japanese girl voice, but speak less. I think that would be my choice. How about you? What would you go for?
I think I agree. I think I'd go with how I look now, have the small Japanese girl's voice, because you can sort of like change your voice a bit. You go, hello. It kind of sounds like a woman is putting on a man's voice, but I mean, it's sort of better than sounding like a small girl. So maybe I could just do that.
Yeah, no, that would be an option. Have you ever been out with a lady or interested in a lady who has been very pleasing to the eye, but had an off-putting voice?
I don't think so. No.
No?
That sort of reminds me of Coming to America. Have you seen that? Where Eddie Murphy's character is like chatting up some woman, and then it's got his like co-star is dressed up as the woman, and he's got like a really deep voice. Goes, "Hello, darling."
Right. Okay. No. I've not seen it. I'll put it on the watch list.
Know, some people could be into that, but no, it's not for me personally.
No, I think of. Did you ever watch Friends? Remember when Friends was on E4 every morning? Yeah. Janice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because aesthetically, Janice was very, very attractive. If you were to put, a dainty lady voice in Janice, she'd come across entirely different.
Would you rather look like you do now, or sound like a small Japanese girl, or sound like Janice?
Oh, that's
Chandler Bing.
You've done that before, haven't you? I'd go Japanese. Absolutely. Do you like your voice, Ryan? Do you like the way you sound? Would you change it if you could?
I wouldn't say I like it, but yeah, there's definitely worse voices. Obviously, I've had to listen to myself quite a bit, having to edit the podcast and stuff, so I'm sort of used to it now. When you get that shock of like hearing your voice and it's not the same as how it comes out your mouth. Yeah, I'm sort of used to that now. And I suppose like being from the south of England, it's like an okay accent, but sometimes you get like Northern Irish is quite like harsh accent. I wouldn't like to have that sort of accent as a voice, or like German isn't like the most like pleasing to the ear. No,
that's very true. I like the Northern Irish accent, like Liam Neeson. I think it sounds cool. There's a gravitas to it. There's some weight. It's a manly voice. Or his anyway.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not more like Northern Irish action stars, because it's like quite a serious voice, isn't it? Whereas like the opposite of like Southern Ireland or Republic of Ireland is like,
there's a real divide.
No one really takes them seriously, but everyone really takes this Northern Irish seriously.
Yeah, well, it goes from sort of, Easter Bunny got a 4-leaf clover and we have had to fucking kill you. See, I can't do accents, but you could do it very well. How would a Northern Irish person speak? What's a stereotypical Northern Irish thing to say?
I know Jimmy Carr has like how he gets into his voices. He has like certain phrases, and the phrase he uses to get into the Northern Irish one is ginger and community.
Oh, brilliant. Very good. Very good.
What would be a Republic of Ireland thing to say? Irish.
It would probably be something along the lines of, hey, top of the morning, howdy, with a 4-leaf, Guinness. Something like that, I think.
I'm listening to Knackers in the Breeze, and it's bloody grand.
It's a marvellous podcast, marvellous. Yeah, that is, something along that would be daily conversation, You
got Knackers in the Breeze out there, Paddy. You've not got Knackers out in the Breeze there yet, but I hope to on a train. It's terrible.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Right, so I've got a question for you, Paul. You're quite a big football fan, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah, and you follow England during like World Cups and stuff, and you're a good supporter of England.
Absolutely, yeah. English and proud, not in an EDL sort of way. I like
not in a racist way.
Yeah.
And not in a smash you up the place kind of way.
No, a little bit of violence is okay during a big competition, but keep damage to a minimum. That would be my advice.
Repair it afterwards.
Absolutely, yeah. Be considerate.
Right, okay. I've got a question for you then.
Go on.
Right, it is the World Cup final. It's the first World Cup final England has got to since 1966. It's a big deal. It's also against Germany. The score is 1-1. The ball comes to you in the 90th minute, and you're presented with this choice. Would you rather score a spectacular goal, a bicycle kick maybe, which will end in England winning the World Cup with that spectacular goal, but as soon as you score it, you shit yourself, and it's not like you can hide it, everyone sees it, you're wearing the white shorts, there's a big brown stain, everyone can see it, and then in the post-match interview, when the interviewer's asking you about your goal, you immediately vomit, and then in the press conference, you shit yourself again. Is it worth sacrificing all of that just so England can win the World Cup and you could have some sort of spectacular goal-scoring glory? Or would you rather miss it and Germany will then go on to win the match? Could you live with yourself afterwards?
Oh, that's a doozy, if you'll excuse the pun. That's a tricky one.
A number twosie.
That's tough, man. I mean, there's layers. There's layers of shit to the question.
So you are going for that one.
I'm just comprehending it a moment. If I say to you, Paula Radcliffe, what's the first thing that you think?
Taking a shit whilst in a marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does stick with you, doesn't it?
It really does.
But she's like I don't know if she still is, but she was like the best female runner, or like one of the best runners in like British history prior to Mo Farah. And she's not really known for that, is she? She's known of...
she's known for the runs. Yeah. It's such a difficult question, Ryan. It's tough. It's hard for me to talk about it and comprehend it at the same time. I feel like I need
Is there any way you could like sort of get over it and laugh it off, but still have like the glory of winning the World Cup?
I don't think there would be much glory. No, there wouldn't be a lot of glory. I think I would shit myself and score the winning goal. Yeah, I choose an alternative where Germany win and I shit myself. Yeah, I'd shit my pants, I think. Have you've shat yourself before, haven't you, mate? You've shat yourself a couple of times.
Thanks for bringing that up on the podcast. Yeah, I'll get into that.
What was the most recent?
Which time?
Oh, go on. I don't remember. I don't recall. I imagine you were very drunk for one of them. I know you've done it twice.
That's not true.
Is it not?
3 times.
3 times. Yeah. Okay. What's the most interesting of the 3?
I didn't think this podcast would go this way, so I apologise, listeners. And if you don't want to hear shit stories, then fast forward a little bit. But the first time, I was about 20, very heavy night before. I went to go and make some food. I think I was getting into the bottom cupboard to maybe get a saucepan, and I thought I'd let out what I thought would be a cheeky fart. Obviously, it came out. There wasn't any like or anything. It just went.
Oh,
it was one of those, yeah. And luckily I was at home, so I just like ran upstairs, had a shower. I think I threw my clothes away, but that wasn't a proudest moment of my life. And then like not too long afterwards, a few weeks later, I think I had a heavy night before, and I was driving to go see my mates. Obviously, left enough time for me to probably sober up and my blood alcohol levels come down. But I again thought I'd try for a cheeky fart and shat myself while I was driving.
Come on, mate. When will you learn?
I know. The third time, I think I did learn. It was just one of those ones where you get caught short. It was New Year's, and again, alcohol was involved. And I was driving home, and it was New Year's Day, so nothing was open, and I just like very suddenly needed a shit, and I pulled over what normally is an open Subway, as in the Subway sandwich shop,
right?
Not a London Underground. Just having a shit on the escalator. No, it's a Subway that I thought was open. Obviously, it wasn't open because it's New Year's Day, so I just had to go round to the bushes, but I didn't quite make it. So bits landed on some of my clothing.
Oh, bits, chunks,
sort of bits, not chunks because it wasn't quite a chunky excrement. But
droplets.
It was a runny one, and I had to use my socks to clean myself up. So
and then what happened? Did you drive bare feet to your destination?
No, I had trainers on, but I had to drive barefoot in the trainers.
Did you carry on going where you were going, or did you head home?
Well, yeah, I did. I had to carry on, get it all out because I didn't want it to happen again. I didn't want it to be in the car because you can never truly get rid of it, I imagine. It's not really happened to me yet, but now it's made me paranoid of ever trying to squeeze out a little fart when I've had a drink.
Yeah, and it only took you shitting yourself 3 times. So now...
you learn from your mistakes, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. No, you really do. Oh, well, I enjoyed that retelling. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Don't cut that out again. Keep that, please.
Yeah, and there's no World Cup to my name at the moment, so...
Yeah, going back to the question, I would shit myself and live with the shame. I live with a lot of shame anyway, so just put it on the bill, basically.
Might as well get a football trophy out of it.
Exactly. I've got nothing to show for my current amount of shame. So, what about you? What would you do?
I'd have to go for the spectacular goal and hope people focus on England winning the World Cup for the second time rather than the literal shit show that proceeded the goal.
Well, you said in your question also that you'd shit yourself whilst being interviewed afterwards.
Oh, no, yeah, so you vomit immediately after the match when you get the post-match interview and they come up to you, winning goal, you scored the winning goal, how do you feel?
Want to set Blatter's face. That would make it all worthwhile.
Yeah. How's this for corruption? Ooh, yeah, topical, sort of.
That's satire. Is it satire? I don't know.
A bit of satirical vomit.
Very good. Satirical vomit.
Knackers in the breeze. Knackers in the breeze.
I feel bad now, mate. You've done a little bit of prep and I've done fuck all. I've brought nothing to this.
That's all right, mate. You're the guest. It's mine and Barry's job to do the prep, and as Barry's not here, it's my job.
You're carrying this. Thank you.
Yeah, we've got another question from, have you heard of People Time?
Possibly. If they've been featured on Knackers and the Breeze, there's a chance I've heard of them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there are podcasts that like kind of delves into the history of certain figures throughout the past, like good and bad, and they put like a big comedy twist on it. And they're very active in this podcast as well. We always appreciate a question from People Time. I will say this question is a little bit old. We haven't used it yet, so the references in this will have to be updated. Yeah. So this is the question for you.
I was going to ask you if you guys could be Theresa May or Winston Churchill. Which one would you want to be? Like, do you want to be in charge right now and be fucking responsible for Brexit and trying to fix it? Which might be heroic, I guess. Or do you want to be, the cool drunk guy who won World War II?
Yeah.
That'd be neat.
I can't wait to hear their answers.
Right. So obviously Theresa May isn't the Prime Minister anymore. We've got Boris Johnson. And if anyone asks me, would you want to be Boris Johnson? That's an immediate headbutt, I think.
Yeah. Forget about politics for a moment and focus on what politics is in nowadays anyway, a popularity contest. He's quite a likeable man.
Yeah, he's just like a sort of a buffoon, which was sort of like funny and fun and stuff when he wasn't massively in charge. When he was just sort of some random political figure, then it was quite funny. He's like appearing on Have I Got News for You? It was quite... But imagine if he become Prime Minister. And we watched Mock the Week the other day and they were making a joke about, imagine if he become Prime Minister. Now he actually is. And people did that with Donald Trump. It's like, where the fuck is it going to go next?
I dread to imagine. It'll be like Kanye West. It will be. It'll be Kanye West.
It will, because he is running for president, isn't he?
Would it honestly, well, it would surprise you, wouldn't it? But, would it amaze you? Would it astound you, given everything that's happened in recent years? Probably not.
No, it wouldn't astound me, actually. But, I mean, he'd probably even be better than Donald Trump. But I'm not a massive fan of Kanye. I think he's a bit deluded in many ways.
Oh, he's a fucking dick. I'll say that publicly. Kanye, if you're listening, you're a dick. And I'm sure he is.
Right, now, you've just caused us to lose a listener there, Paul.
No, I'm sorry. That's 10% of the listenership gone. He's such
Kanye and North, love this.
Oh, man, I can't stand any of them. I can't stand the Kardashians. I can't stand him. I think you feel the same as me, mate. I don't want to be presumptuous, but sometimes I question my worth generally and what I bring to the table and how much insight I can offer. And, I'm someone who's been to university and I've gained a degree and I've had a certain amount of life experience. I certainly actively listen to people around me and try and grow as an individual. And you have people who they've got nothing. And they think they know everything, and they're so convinced that they have all of the answers. And when you actually stop and listen to them talk, it's shit. It's just shit. Yeah. And that's what I hear every time Kanye West opens his mouth. Just shit.
Yeah, he does just seem to have the loudest voice. And unfortunately in politics, that's like the number one thing, isn't it?
It seems to be. Yeah. No, it's a shame. You'd have to be Winston Churchill, though, wouldn't you? Instead of Kanye West. I'd rather be old Winston in a bowler with a big old Cuban in my mouth.
Yeah. So I think that's like a very easy answer for me, because like he is kind of responsible for us sort of like at least surviving in the war, and then massively responsible for us winning it. He came and changed everything, and it wasn't just like policies and stuff. It was like motivation and like the British morale and British spirit, and it kind of like later defined us. Like the Blitz spirit and stuff is very significant in people's lives, not just politically. So that, or Theresa May, Boris Johnson, who are not insignificant in people's lives, but won't change it for the better, really, apart from having a little giggle when Boris Johnson tries to zip line down with Union Jacks and then gets stuck, or Or takes out a Japanese boy in a rugby tackle, or takes out a
Again.
German in a football match.
Yeah, all wonderful things to be remembered for, all thoroughly amusing. Yeah, Theresa May, how will she be remembered? Anyway, I mean, she was just this fucking haggard wreck who failed to get a decent deal for Brexit. I mean, and then you've got Winston Churchill, this.
Emily and I have a theory that Theresa May, because she was a Remainer and she came in to be Prime Minister as a Remainer, but her sole policy was like, we're going to deliver Brexit. I reckon she was sort of still a Remainer and she was purposely shit in order to like prolong the process and then just like get every other option out the door, just so she had to go like, well, all right, we've got no other choice, we have to stop Brexit, and then still sort of appear like she's tried to do her best and that she is a good politician, rather than just coming in and going, right, we're going to stop Brexit. But obviously she's been caught out, and Boris Johnson, an outer, a Brexiter, has come in, and well, it looks like he's going to get us out, unfortunately.
Yeah, interesting conspiracy. Yeah, well, she did vote to remain. I'm sure there's an element of that. She's going to fight for something that she didn't vote for. She doesn't necessarily believe in, but has to all the same. Yeah, I don't know. What other big conspiracies are there? There's a few. Not the, Elvis is still alive, or Bruce Lee works for the Hong Kong police. What realistic conspiracies do you subscribe to? Are there any conspiracy theories that you believe in?
I don't think the JFK one was like as clear cut as what's his name? Who was the shooter? Do you remember his name?
Well, the guy who shot JFK?
Yeah.
No. They said it was some madman.
No, yeah, it was some Soviet person. I can't remember his name, but yeah, it's clear cut as him just shooting from like a building so far away. Yeah, and then when you see like the video, his head moves, like the whole like Bill Hicks thing of like back and to the left, back and to the left. That came from a bullet from over there. Anything like America, Russia in the 60s and stuff, it was insane. But obviously I don't have any like evidence to suggest something else. But yeah, everyone's always going on about the grassy knoll, aren't they? I reckon it came from there.
I don't know anything about the grassy knoll. It makes me think of Noel Edmonds. I don't know.
Was it Noel Edmonds? Is this where we're saying first? Noel Edmonds killed JFK. You heard it here first. And he shouted out, "No deal," as he did it.
I've forgotten the question now. Yeah, we answered it anyway, didn't we? We'd be Winston. We'd be old Winston.
No, that'd be quite cool, especially like as Winston Churchill was being a prime minister and fighting for something he did actually believe in, rather than Theresa May being prime minister and doing the exact opposite, just because it's, yeah, as you say, like some sort of popularity contest. And
the weight of words as well, the speeches, they stood the test of time and they still give you goosebumps. I have no idea what it's like to be affected by war firsthand, but when you listen to Fight Them on the Beaches and We Shall Never Surrender, it does something to you. It makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. It's truly inspirational. I'll be Winston.
Yeah, I think I would as well.
Listen up, Knackers in the breeze. Listen up, Knackers in the breeze.
Right, I think that's all the questions I've got for you, mate. How have you found it?
Yeah, I feel like I've talked a lot of shit and I've spoken over you far too much because I can't see your face.
Welcome to the podcast. That's just how it goes.
The thing that bothers me the most is that whenever we talk and we're face to face, I'm always focused on you. I know when you're about to speak, and I ensure that I listen during those periods. And I hate interrupting people. And now sometimes I dive in, not knowing if you're about to also.
The benefit of this is I can just like edit stuff out and stuff. So if you do speak over, or I speak over you or whatever, then I can kind of just line it up to make it seem like you're just carrying on speaking or whatever. But no, I've really enjoyed you coming on, and we'll definitely try and get you on again in the future. Hopefully we can get both presenters on asking you questions. That'd be quite funny, because there's definitely something missing this end with Barry not being here, I think. And it is quite difficult, like being in charge of the whole show sort of thing. So it's another first for me as well.
You did very well, mate. I enjoyed it. You guided it along nicely. I liked the questions. I particularly enjoyed your shit yourself World Cup question. That was a real thinker. I think I enjoyed it. That's what I'm saying. That's the take-home message. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, cheers, mate. I don't suppose you have, but have you got any questions you want to ask me?
Let me think. Just an off the cusp. Would you rather? I'll think of something. Would you rather only ever ejaculate confetti, or have a removable eye, but sometimes it would just pop out unknowingly?
Ejaculate confetti. I feel like that's just painful. But I mean, it would be a brilliant surprise.
Oh,
which when I ejaculate is amazing anyway. Surprise!
I mean, you could take that trick anywhere. Kids' parties, it's
Happy New Year.
yeah.
What was the other one? A removable eye.
Yeah, removable eye. It functions as a regular eye.
Which could be quite cool, actually.
It'd be quite cool, wouldn't it? So it's like a glass eye, but you can still see out of it. But sometimes it would just pop out, probably once a
you
fortnight.
can still see out of it. Okay.
You can still whilst it's in the socket.
Okay.
When you can't sort of roll it under a car and spy on someone.
No, that'd be quite cool. It's just if it pops out and you lose it, then you're fucked. Although if you can see, you just see where it is. Unless it's like face down, then you just see a bit of gravel or just black.
No. You're misunderstanding, mate. Once it's out of the socket, it's you can't see out of it. It's like it's out of the mains. It just switches off.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah.
I think to stop it like rolling around or whatever when it comes out, you'd have to have like some sort of little basket under your chin to catch.
Would you?
The eye.
Is that necessary? Would a little basket?
Yeah, because it just when it pops out, it just falls in the basket, and you go, "Hey, there's a little trick." Pop it back in. Can you see again when you pop it back in?
Like a ball in a cup. No, because I don't think that's one of your better ideas, mate. I don't mean to criticise your lovely man, but I don't think that's
a little
wise.
Chin basket.
No, because it's once a fortnight that it's popping out. Do you really want to wear a chin basket 24/7?
I mean, I have one already, but it's not really coming like fully functional.
Finally,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, people go, "What's that?" And you go, "Well, it's obviously my chin basket."
What else would it be? Come on.
Yeah. But, yeah.
And definitely not the ejaculating confetti. That you're ruling that out.
I feel like it would be quite fun. It would be quite funny. I just feel like it'd be very painful, and it would kind of like put me off trying to do it. Please, just once confetti.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll put me off it a little bit. And if you are in the act and you do ejaculate, that's going to be very painful for the other person as well, I imagine. Do you reckon it goes like a little party blower things?
Yeah, definitely. No, it makes that noise as well. Well, you make that noise involuntarily out of your mouth.
I'm so close. Baby. Surprise.
Yeah. Oh, well, now it sounds even better. If I were a lady, if I liked the company of men and enjoyed them in a sexual...
Sounds like an army group.
I fought for the company of men.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have a face full of confetti. Not necessarily your confetti. No, just confetti generally.
Y'all have listened to another exceptional podcast episode of Knackers in the Breeze. If you want to ask Ryan and Barry a question, send a voice note via private message on Facebook. Just search for Knackers in the Breeze. Join them again soon on their quest for philosophical enlightenment.
Right. I think that was a brilliant question from the father of Would You Rather there. And I kind of put him under pressure a bit there to think of a question, but we finally have a live question from the father of Would You Rather. And it's a first for being a Skype guest as well. So this podcast is changing, it's evolving.
Oh, what time we live in, eh? The future.
I try and do the outros, but I'm not as good at it as Barry. We are skimming along the surface of Skype, and we are abseiling down the mountainside of hope.
Brilliant. That was brilliant. Is that Kevin MacLeod influence? Do you ever watch Grand Designs? And his sign-off is really philosophical, unnecessarily philosophical.
Okay,
watch it.
No, I've only seen one of them.
Yeah, do watch it. It's a treat. He's a really interesting character, Kevin MacLeod, and he summarizes every build. It's a journey, but it's more than that, because it's not just a home. It's sort of it's a purpose. It's it's a center for being. It gets really deep, and it's just someone's built a nice house to live in. Yeah.
But yeah, so episode 24 done. Episode 23 was obviously recorded before this. So anything we promised in episode 23 obviously hasn't been delivered at the moment, but it's coming in episode 25. So look out for the results of the t-shirt competition, and Barry and I will look into what we're going to do with the winning design. I don't know if we're going to do some sort of competition, maybe give out a free t-shirt to the winner. Yeah, it's all coming. So
okay.
Yeah, find us on iTunes, Spotify, give us a review and share it with your friends.
Exciting times. Yeah, absolutely. I echo that. Very good. Cheers, mate.
So we have been joined by the father of Would You Rather. And yeah, he's been a brilliant guest. He fits right in the show. So yeah, we'll get him on again in the future.
Back by no demand, I'm sure. Just known as back by zero demand. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Thank you to Paul, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, buddy. I think Diana could have been murdered. I think I sounded like something out of fucking Hot Fuzz then. Murder. Oh, the Bristolian. So embarrassing.
There's been a murder.
No one said it was murder.